Live from New York, it's Ask an Engineer.
Hey everybody, and welcome to another weekly edition of Ask an Engineer. It's me, Lady Ada, the engineer. With me is Mr. Lady Ada. We're here at the Adafruit factory, where you can see we've got puppets and boxes and electronics, and oh yeah, we have the on-air sign, so you can tell that we're on air. An exciting show tonight, all sorts of exciting, wonderful things about electronics, and of course our fancy new graphics set.
Yeah, we're doing lots of stuff.
Very monochrome.
Yeah.
It's my style.
All right, on tonight's show, the code is ground. 10% off in the Adafruit store all the way up to 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, except for gift certificates and software. We're going to talk about the show and tell. Amazing people around the world showing and sharing their projects. Packet the mailbags and stop by. Deliver the mail.
These little Converses.
Help wanted. The Adafruit jobs board. Tutorials. We have 806. We'll just talk about a few of them. Time travel. We're going to take a look back in the world of hacking, making, artists, and engineers. Oh, actually, this week we're skipping time travel because we have a lot going on.
Wow, we're skipping such time travel that we're time traveling past time travel.
We're going to play, and the reason is because we're going to debut G is for ground. Some wearable videos catching up, 3D printing, new products. We're going to answer your question. We have a trivia question, all that and more on, you guessed it, Ask an Engineer.
Yay!
Yeah. So there we go. So that's what's going on. Yeah. So there's some segments, I don't have a Raspberry Pi segment this week either because we have a lot of other stuff going on.
I know.
So let's.
We're still catching up.
Yeah, we're still catching up because we had guests. In fact, we're gonna have another guest. We're gonna have Charles and his crew, who are doing BattleBots stuff in a couple weeks.
Awesome.
And we also have some other guests coming up tonight.
Great.
Too. Yeah. Turns out this is the longest running premier live electronics show. So if you do anything in this like maker movement or electronics, Charlie Rose isn't really talking to you yet unless you're Tim Cook or something. Anyway.
We're the Larry King of electronics.
Yeah, maybe the Barbara Walters, perhaps the Oprah. Who knows? Okay. We are supported by you, the community and customers. The code is ground. 10% off on the Adafruit store. That's how we pay the bills here. We have no loans, no venture capital. It's all customer supported.
Yeah, totally.
And we give away stuff. We're open source.
I don't even have an inheritance
crazy.
or anything.
Yeah, no, we have nothing. We have nothing. This is all we have. So this is the show, and this is how we do stuff. All right. A little bit of some logisticy things. Let people know what's going on. We do have some specials still. $200 or more, you get free UPS ground in the Adafruit store for your shipping in the continental U.S. We've been doing that for a while. People really like it. We debuted same-day delivery in New York City. This has been working out great.
So it's been a week now.
Yeah, it's been a week. No problems at all. No mistakes. Nothing. People, if they order by 11 and they're in the zip codes that we currently have.
And there's quite a few.
There's quite a few. In Manhattan, it arrives by 5. Bang.
Okay.
Bang.
And it's worked out so far? Everyone's gotten it?
Everybody has liked it.
Okay.
Okay.
Sweet. If you're in New York, this is probably really good or really bad, depending on whether you have a budget or whether you just need your stuff fast.
We're almost to the end of the journey of the Lady Ada's R is for Robots coloring book. This week, the show is brought to you by the letter X. And X is for X-Rex, and it's this robot that goes like... Oh,
right, yeah. It spins around, and it has little grippy legs.
Yeah.
And it runs forward on its little grippy legs.
Yeah.
It's fun to color in.
All right. Next up. Show and tell. Lady Ada. Who's on the show and tell tonight?
Oh, I will grab my list. Thank you. We had a couple people on the show and tell. Actually, a lot of new people. But we'll start off with our return friends. Tony DeCola from Adafruit Northwest has been getting back into working on Raspberry Pi projects. So he's doing the BNO055 sensor, which is very popular. It's a 9DOF sensor with built-in sensor fusion. And he's getting that library ported from Arduino to Raspberry Pi. So he's been working on that, debugging it, still getting a couple of things worked out. But hopefully that will happen soon. Noe and Pedro have a 7-inch HDMI screen with battery backup that they're using as a portable side screen. This is going to be a future project that'll debut. And don't forget to watch them tomorrow on 3D Hangouts with Noe and Pedro. It's every Thursday at 3 p.m. where they'll talk about this chess set. We're going to show the photos today?
We're going to show the video today.
We're going to show the photos and video today. But if you want to learn more about how to 3D print your own metallic chess set with metal filament, tune in tomorrow or any Thursday. They'll probably talk about similar stuff. Jasmine came back. She hasn't been on the show and tell for almost a year, but she made a really awesome 3D printed marble machine with all these pieces that are 3D printed, and it was really tall. It was 7 or 8 feet tall, and it had multiple ball bearings in it, and she had a drill that she used to motorize it so that when the ball bearings went all the way through the little machine with all the things, they would then get carried all the way up and start all over. And she was inspired by the 3D printed marble machine in the MakerBot stores, so she wanted to build her own. It's cool. Basti visited from Germany through the internets and showed off at Particle Core. That's the name of the board. It's the Spark Core Particle board. And he made an alarm system for his home, and it's a really lovely alarm system with like a 4-digit 7-segment display, and it had like a timer and like an access code, and it was Wi-Fi connected.
Yeah.
So it had it would log on the dashboard when the door was open and closed, and when it was.
Yeah. It had a keypad, it had a countdown, and then it would notify.
And it would send him an SMS on his phone
via
using
if this and that. Yeah, it was a really
It was
project.
a really, really nice.
Yeah.
Alarm system, a really nice apartment too, which I would protect with this lovely alarm system. And it's neat because, like
Yeah.
you said, you can get like a Nest from, or like a Wi-Fi.
Or from anyone. There's Wink. There's all these
whatever,
things.
Wink or Honeywell, but who knows?
You don't really know. You can't do like a data export. You don't really know what's going on, and that's very valuable information.
Yeah.
And every other day there's a big giant hack. So not that this would be any secure, but at least it's yours.
Yeah.
At least it's
Also,
yours.
you can customize it. Like,
Yeah.
you can have an SMS sent. You can set how long is the timeout before it sends it to him. He could hook it up so, like, if he can disarm it remotely because he knows a friend is visiting. He doesn't want to give them the code, but he would disarm it for 5 minutes to let them in. So really cool stuff. Alex is building wearables with biosensing and muscle sensors, and it's like a wearable wrist bracer that can measure muscle movement, and it has MIDI out. So he hooked it up to his iPhone, which has a MIDI converter attached to it. And the iPhone had like some sort of synthesizer program running, and like by squeezing his arm and hand and fingers, he could make music occur, and that was really neat to watch because he'd like squeeze his hand and it would go like when he moved his fingers. So that was really neat. And then finally, Andy had a big project that he did for an outdoor music festival called Filter Feed, and it's interactive art for recycling. And so they have people drinking out of metallic or aluminum cans and recyclable plastic cans, and so he wanted to make a really cool recycling bin. So this bin has a big sign, there's like aluminum on it.
Yeah.
And then when you put the can in, there's a wave shield, an Arduino, and a laser beam sensor. When you put the can in, it triggers off the laser sensor, and it like says thank you for no, it doesn't say thank you. It says it has a coin sound.
Like
goes,
a Mario coin sign.
To thank you for
Yeah.
recycling. So you get like a points for recycling, and the LEDs change colors, and so you get a positive reinforcement, not just because you're recycling and that's one less thing in the trash, but also because it looks really cool. And he said he worked really hard to make this waterproof, and it survived the entire outdoor event. So these are some great projects.
Okay.
A wide range.
All participants on the Show and Tell kit, and as seen on the Show and Tell sticker, just email support@adafruit.com and you'll get that sticker. Lady Ada, how do people get on the Show and Tell though?
If you would like to show off your project next week or any week after that for the next 5 billion years until the heat death of this universe, you can do that by going to the Google Plus page at plus.google.com/+Adafruit and look for the thread with AdaBot, where AdaBot says, like, comment here to get added to the Show and Tell circle. And then you will add your comment there using your Google Plus account, and we'll click on your avatar and add to the circle, and you will join the other 500 plus amazing creative people that show off their maker spaces, hacked projects, cosplay, crafting, electronics, woodworking, recycled materials, 3D printed marble machines, and other creative goodies every single week.
That's right. It's not going to be heat death. It's an egg, and it's going to hatch at the end.
Sorry, when the egg of the
Don't
universe,
spoil the ending. Don't spoil the end of the
I don't
universe.
know the ending. I'm
Okay,
guessing.
I'll tell you later over
Hatches.
drinks. Okay.
You just said it hatches.
But then something else happens.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm not supposed to talk about it.
Okay.
The terrible secret of space. We have some really big news. We were allowed to announce it today, and we did. Adafruit is coming to a micro center near you. That's right. There are over 25 locations. They have them in California, Colorado, Georgia, Illinois, Kansas, Massachusetts, Maryland, Michigan, Minnesota, Missouri, New Jersey, New York, and they have 4 locations, handy for us. Ohio, that's where they started, Pennsylvania, Texas, and Virginia. The Adafruit catalog will be in there. You'll be able to go to a micro center and get all your favorite Adafruit things. We didn't want to do retail until it was the right partner, the right time, and for the right reasons. Because we've always said, hey, like retail can really
Okay, why is this the right time?
Okay, it's the right time now because we're able to have all of the inventory that resellers want. We're able to do things like...
Because we have the manufacturing capability, work orders, we're in stock. We have
we
have like 98% in stock right now.
Yeah.
Okay, and so that's the right time. So then why is this the right partner?
It's the right partner because we always entertain the idea, and I can say this because like Radio Shack went bankrupt. They're now like restructuring everything. Radio Shack, they deliver you like an 800-page contract. It's basically like we're never going to pay you. It's consignment, and it's not friendly at all towards maker companies. And Micro Center is kind of is the leading company that works with maker companies. They do fantastic sales with different types of 3D printers. You name it, they have a lot of stuff, and they're very good at working with the company. So from like a business point of view and a contractual point of view, it was very good for us. I'd written an article about what happened with the bankruptcy with Radio Shack. I searched for all the maker companies, and they owed Seed Studio $800,000, Make like $200,000, Parallax like $70K. Apple was only owed like $15,000 because they got paid in like chunks of gold.
Yeah, they get paid ahead of time.
Yeah.
There's no you don't do net 30 with Apple.
So it was all for the right reasons, and special shout out to Samantha and Kevin. So you'll see the catalog in Micro Center, and you'll see a ton of Adafruit stuff, and we have more surprises coming up soon.
What if somebody? I mean, I know that. We have thousands of items, so maybe Microsoft's not going to have every single thing.
Sure.
So how do people request if they want a particular product?
Sure, they can actually request it through the stores. They can send it to their website. Also, we have other distributors like DigiKey, Allied, Arrow, Element 14, Mauser. There'll be an announcement soon. It's happening.
And so about when is this going to actually? I mean, it's announced, but when are things going to show up?
Well, what we're doing right now is we're going to start with our top sellers and then do the whole catalog. We have thousands of products, and it'll be cool.
Okay, we're working on it.
Yep.
It's happening.
So I told you we would get there.
Thanks.
Yeah. It was kind of...
Just takes time.
There's this scene in There Will Be Blood, and he goes, I told you I would eat you. I just saw the movie recently. It was pretty good. And he hits him with a... It's a very violent movie. Let's go on to better, nicer things. Hi, I'm back in the mailbag. I'm happy. All right. So this week, this is a letter from you, the community. I want to thank Lamore and all of you who make this website and innovations with it possible. What you all do is simply amazing and helps all of us embedded engineers and scientists out. Thank you for all you've done and all the innovations you've pushed forward with. With all of you, the absolute best. Best regards, Frank. Thanks, Frank.
I think they means wish, but it's typoed.
Yeah.
Only wish.
Okay.
Thanks, Frank.
Help wanted. Adafruit's job board. Okay, this week in Adafruit Jobs board, here is the job we're posting. So Lady and I approve each one of these every single week. We had we sort of interviewed the new MakerBot CEO, so they recently posted up an electrical engineer job on our jobs board. So I figured, okay, that's fair. They were looking for an inspired electrical engineer to help develop the next generation of 3D printers for their engineering team in Brooklyn, New York. They would like someone who has experience with things like 8-bit and 32-bit microcontrollers, I2C, SPI, USB, and all that stuff. A hunger to learn and expand your skills. A little pro tip out there: if you're a really good engineer and you want to change a company from the inside, go there and say, I'm a really good engineer, but I'd like to do a little bit of open source while I'm here. I'd like to make sure the DRM isn't going to be applied to the filament. As someone, the engineers,
they do get to choose.
They get to choose.
They can put their foot down. It's tough, but they can.
Yeah. All right. Next up, open source hardware. So, we got some news. Do you know what we did on July 2nd?
Yeah.
You know what we did? We shipped Arduinos made in USA.
That was last Thursday.
Yeah.
That feels like years ago.
Yeah, so Thursday, in addition to doing all sorts of other things, like running an Adafruit, stopping by Brooklyn, New York types things that we got to do. We shipped the very first Arduinos. We have Arduino.cc Arduinos, made here in the USA. Here's a graphic, and we got very patriotic. You see, that is an American-made pan of ice. That is an American-made American flag. And I woke up.
Which we waved.
And I woke up at like 5 in the morning, and I made this quick video, and I put "America the Beautiful," played by the U.S. Navy band. And then a couple hours later, I got a copyright notice from YouTube. A company named Rumblefish claimed to own America the Beautiful, so then I had to get in a copyright fight. A few hours later, everyone chilled out. So
America.
Yeah. So the music is still on there. You can listen to it. It's a 3-minute long rendition from the Navy band. It's beautiful, and it's shipping. We're doing it. It's happened 2 days ahead of schedule. Massimo Pietro, call me. It's all working out.
Yeah, we gotta make more.
Yeah, give me a ring.
So we did the first prototype
Yep.
run. We're gonna be making a lot more, but this is our first attempt, our first like production run. We're like revising and updating and making it faster and better to,
Yeah.
this is like, we basically had to start from almost scratch. I mean, like
I'll say it straight up. You're going to be very kind. I'm going to just be very direct. So one of the problems was Arduino got fractured. The manufacturing part of Arduino broke off. It was sold to someone else, and someone else is now claiming to be the CEO. All of that knowledge of making Arduinos for years, Arduino.cc didn't get. There's none.
Yeah.
Like we had to start from scratch. Like, okay, ready, set, maker fair announcement, ship Arduinos. So we had to figure out everything. We made our own testers.
Like we had
there was no testers available.
We had to respec all the parts because the part specifications weren't
Yeah.
public, and we had to like check all the Gerbers and files and make sure those were like we
Yeah.
had to like redo everything. We had to repanelize.
I'll have to say this was absolutely impossible, and the fact that we did it 2 days ahead of time was amazing. And thank you, Mike Esty, who sent us a note.
Thanks, Mike
Yeah,
Esty.
he's the only one.
He's like, wow, you guys shipped on schedule. That's really hard.
Yeah, he's like,
hard.
that was hard. So anyways, here's some photos. We're shipping. We're really happy about this. And next up, Megas, Leonardo's, starter packs. We'll have the full Arduino line that we're able to manufacture here. Adafruit. This is our folks assembling it. Marty.
This is the second.
Yeah, and then we got Vance.
Sully.
Yep.
Damon.
Sully. Yep.
Alberto, Vance.
Yep. Damon.
Actually,
yep.
starting from like 12 o'clock and going this way,
Yep.
it's Damon, Alberto, Vance, Sully in the nice American flag shirt, and then Marty.
Yeah, and then here it is. Lady Ada packaged the first round up and walked them personally to UPS. Scanned and got receipts because we wanted to make sure they got to the Arduino distribution
Yeah, we sent them
warehouse
overnight
in Lakewood, New Jersey.
So they got them.
Yep.
So yeah, you'll start to see Arduino.cc.
Yeah, we did it.
Assembling the USA ones in the world.
I kind of want to throw up. Okay, next up.
On to the next thing.
Yeah, 806 tutorials in Adafruit learning system. I think there's more, but Lady Ada, talk about what these are.
Okay, we have a tutorial for the new Bluefruit LE SPI Friends, a new product. I'll talk about this in new products. But it's basically, we've had this great Bluetooth Low Energy core chipset that we're working with. We're making Bluetooth Energy, so it's really easy and fun to use. I'll have a demo later. But this just tells you like how to do pinouts and soldering and wiring of the SPI Friend. And I think this is really nice. It's actually, I think, the only SPI interfaceable Bluetooth Low Energy chipset. Like, we basically had to write entire SPI client stack for the NR51822, but it lets most Bluetooth Low Energy chipsets use UART. This one uses SPI.
Yeah.
So if you don't have a software serial or hardware serial port, you can still do Bluetooth Low Energy.
I am not aware of any other one.
I've looked. I don't think there's any.
And if I'm not aware of it, that's probably understandable. If you're not, then it probably doesn't exist. Okay, next up.
Oh, this is the Neo Matrix 8x8 word clock, which is actually made in-house by Andy Doro and Dano Wall, who are directors of machines, team lead and directors of the machines group here. They actually do all the manufacturing. Everything that you've ever touched with an Adafruit logo that was pick and placed was made or overseen by these two people, as well as the other people in machines. And they have, because we're doing so well with fabrication, they had a little bit of extra time, and so spent the last week making a word clock with the Neo Matrix. So it's a NeoPixel Matrix 8x8, and that has just enough pixels that they could fit a word clock into it. So they made a laser cut case and a little portable word clock with a nice, black acrylic, and it has multicolors. So it fades between colors, and it looks really cool. It also has a real-time clock built into it, so you only have to set the time once when you upload the code. And then the other neat thing is that the brightness dims at night because it knows what time it is. So the NeoPixel Matrix sets the brightness to be lower at night, so it's not as oh my god, it's so bright. But it's a really cool clock.
Okay. Next up.
This is a project by Todd Treese, a simple one, but good for him. He took our hand moldable plastic, which is this plastic that you can put in boiling water, and then when you pull it out, it's soft and you can mold it. And he's been making, I guess, extremely sharp chisels, and he's been sharpening his chisels to do woodworking with. He really loves woodworking. Check out his other videos. And so he wanted to protect his chisels, both from stuff making them dull, and from his skin, so he doesn't like accidentally pick one up and then like cut his hand. So he hand molded covers for the chisels using this hand moldable plastic, and it worked really well. He said it was way better than Plasti-Dip, which is what other people tend to be using, like the dippy plastic stuff.
Okay, we're gonna keep moving right along. Okay, next up, some pretty big news in the world of Circuit Playground. G is for ground is out. It is here, and it's our 6th in the series. A is for B is for battery, C capacitor, D is for diode, E is musical. We're skipping that one for now. F is for frequency, G is for ground.
Okay.
Take it away, Adabot and Lady Ada.
Hey, Adabot, how you doing?
Oh, good. I was just wondering,
Wondering about what?
why do some power cables have 2 conductors and some have 3?
That's a very good question, Adabot. The answer is these 3-prong cables are grounded.
You mean they're not allowed to go out and play?
Oh no, not like that. See, on this connector, we have a 3rd prong, and that's the ground. We use these with appliances like this one for safety. If something goes wrong electrically inside, that extra dangerous electrical charge goes through the ground and not through you, which would cause a nasty shock.
Ground? Like outside with all the dirt?
That's right. The Earth is ground. So anything connected to the Earth is grounded.
Huh? So let's say we're talking about things that are ground. How many can we find just by looking around?
Are you kidding? That's easy. We're nearly surrounded. There's a lot of things here that are very well grounded.
Like dirt?
Yep, that's Earth.
Pipes?
Yes, very true.
A sink?
Also connected to the Earth.
A tree?
Well, yes, but it's not conductive.
This rock?
Uh-huh.
That rock?
You bet.
A fire extinguisher?
No way.
A cup of tea?
Not ground.
An airplane?
Same deal.
A rubber ball?
Not grounded.
A lightning rod?
Oh, most definitely. It doesn't take long to complete this search. Ground is anything conductive that's connected to the Earth.
Do, do, do.
Hey, Dabot, back already? That was quick.
Yes, I found examples all over.
You might say you covered a lot of ground.
Oh, zing. Good one, good one. That was good.
Okay.
Now you all know about ground.
Yeah, and so the other thing we have is a couple other videos, so I have to decide which ones. I wanted to play from Wearables. Don't forget Becky Stern's show is every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Wearable Electronics with Becky Stern. I want to play part 2 because we played part 1 last week. We'll do the teardown video maybe next week. But this is part 2 of the LED hat.
Skulls.
Yeah.
Welcome back for part 2 of our costume EEG cap with over 70 NeoPixels and 3D printed diffusers. Check out part 1 for the construction of this beast, because today is all about programming the LEDs and controlling the cap over Bluetooth. To create animating patterns for the cap, I organized the pixels into groups based on where they are on the cap. I created a new array for each row, listing the numbered pixels in order from front to back. This is similar to the City by Calumet, which also has a zigzagging pixel strip. With each row in its own array, you can code up a for loop that steps through all of the arrays at once for a racing stripe effect. I also added a function that randomly flashes the pixels with a few colors, and you can assign buttons in the app's control pad to activate the different animation modes. In the Arduino sketch, you can take in one color from the app's color picker and then mathematically determine some coordinating colors. Use a graphical palette with RGB readouts to inform your math if your additive color theory is a little rusty. You can find all the code we discussed today in the EEG Cap tutorial. The link is in the description. If you've got questions, post them up in the comments and I'll tackle them every week on our live wearables broadcast right here on YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe to catch the latest videos from Adafruit, and thanks so much for watching.
Alrighty, and we're back. Okay. It's 3D printing time. Okay, so this is an amazing, cool project in video. This is like a couple years in the making. We've always wanted an Adafruit chess set that anyone can print, and it's done. And it's here, and this is world premiere video.
Do it.
You'll be able to download your own Adafruit chess set and play chess. 100% 3D printed chess set.
Get ready to play with the Adafruit chess set. It's entirely 3D printed and features players from Circuit Playground. This filament contains actual metal particles, and in this video we're going to take a look at how to get this shimmer and shine so it doesn't look 3D printed. First, let's take a look at the chess players. First up, we have Lady Ada featured as the Queen. Mosfet, the King Kitty. Adabot serving as the brave and shiny knight. Connie, the transistor, as bishop. Cappy, the capacitor, as the rook. And finally, Ruby, Gus, and Billy as the LED pawns. So we designed the characters in CAD and separated them into pieces for printing in metal filament. To prepare the parts for slicing, we oriented the parts and optimized the settings to print with no support material. For printing, we used the Type A machine Series 1 and printed at 100 microns. So check out the guide on the Adafruit Learning System for slicing settings and more details on usage. Also, be sure to check out our video on polishing techniques. We recommend using 2 different rotary tumblers, not just to speed up the process, but to avoid mixing and blending the 2 materials together. We'll use screws as the medium, steel screws for bronze fill parts, and brass screws for copper fill. Using different metal screws will differentiate the tones. And you'll want to use new screws, because old screws that are worn out will not give you as much abrasion. Be sure to tumble in a well-ventilated area, wear proper breathing mask, and gloves for safety. Now to get this amazing finish, we'll tumble each part for about 8 hours, so it's best to do it overnight. You'll have to tumble each part separately to avoid any damage during the tumbling process. You can of course toss the part back in the tumbler if the surface doesn't look fully polished. We actually adjusted the tolerances to about 0.2 millimeter clearance for the parts that need to be connected. And be sure to remove any artifacts and clean the parts free from any leftover dust. Now to assemble the parts permanently, we'll use adhesives. Here's a tip: you can insert the legs into the body first and then apply glue to the base. This will help you properly align the legs before gluing to the body. The chessboard itself is a modular design that can be printed in regular PLA. Pieces that make up the board are separated into 3 different parts. You can choose any 2 colors as your alternating squares. The board pieces use puzzle-like connectors and they just snap fit together. These have tight tolerances which give the board a bit of flexibility but enough rigidity to move around. Assembly is pretty straightforward. Like a puzzle game, it doesn't take too long at all. You simply snap everything together. Each square is a standard 5cm piece, which makes a full-size 40cm chessboard. This requires no glue and everything just snap fits together. And now we have a 3D printed Adafruit chess set. Now these pieces aren't all just shimmer and shine, they weigh as if they were cast from real metal. It's actually 3 times heavier than regular PLA. So be sure to check out this material if you're looking to make similar projects, and visit the learning guide for more tips on polishing techniques. Thank you so much for watching, and be sure to subscribe for more 3D printing projects from Adafruit.
Okay,
We're back.
that was the chess set. So
It's beautiful.
yeah,
Hey, do you
tomorrow.
want me to grab some of the pieces? Or
No, it's too far away.
Okay, fine.
It's all the way on the other side of it. So
Bye.
3D Hangouts will be on tomorrow, and you can watch all the fun and what went into it. Okay, code's ground, 10% off everything needed for store, including some of those metal filaments that you saw.
All right, time for
Yeah.
new.
Yep. Time for new products.
I'm doing it. Okay.
There we go. Okay, this week in the wonderful world of new products, Lady Ada, we've got the following.
Yeah, I'm going to start actually with a product that's a couple weeks old, but we didn't get to demo because we had people visiting. This is the new Smart Matrix breakout add-on for the Teensy 3.1. So this allows you, you add a Teensy on top, as you can see here, and then you can use a micro SD card to load animations that are displayed on a matrix. And so it just kind of shows you
Like a GIF.
like a GIF or like text or all sorts of stuff. So you can check out the Smart Matrix site, but I have the demo on the overhead. You want to go to the overhead?
Yeah, we're gonna go ahead.
Okay.
I know it's gonna work out. We'll try it.
We'll try. We're going to try. So, yeah, hold on. Let me zoom it out. So you can see, hold on. Do a lock on the... so you can see it's a 32 by 32 matrix, and it can play like GIFs, and it has like text and like cool effects. And the Smart Matrix board plugs in on the back here, and it just plugs in, and then you just have to add a power supply. You can have like animated GIFs and stuff. So it's a really neat way to make a little like LED matrix frame using a Teensy 3.1, which has like DMA, so it can do a really good job of having these beautiful colors and effects. Yeah, you can see it. It's pretty clear.
Okay. All right, moving right along. SIM card holder.
This one's pretty straightforward, but still handy, and it goes well with another new product. It's just a holder for SIM cards. So, you know, the SIM cards that you have in your phone and stuff? Well, if you want to have those in a project, which would especially be useful if you're using, making a cellular phone type project that uses a SIM card for authentication, these little holders, we use them all the time. You slide the SD card, the SIM card in, and you lock it down, and they work really great. They're surface mount, but they're really easy to use. And on the overhead, I can show one being used as well. If you want to pop over the overhead. So for example, here is one on the Fona breakout, and this is that same holder. So you snap it open, and you flip open the holder, and then the SD, I keep saying SD, I mean SIM card, slots in like this. You line it up and then close, and it's like nice and secure. They're really easy to use. We like them, and so since we're going to be putting some cellular modules in the store, we thought these would be a handy accessory.
Speaking of, we got a module.
It's a cellular module. It's the SIM 808, which is like our favorite GSM, GPRS, and GPS module. This module has is basically an all-in-one cell phone, and also has GPS capability, which is really neat. So you basically can have like a cell phone that can do voice, data, text, you can do SMSs, you can make phone calls, you can connect to websites, you actually act as a web server as well. Not a very good one, but it does work. And also has a GPS built in, MediaTek 3339, which is a really good chipset. And we use this in our Fona 808 breakout and the soon-to-arrive Fona 808 Shield. But because this module is hand solderable, like all the pins are on the outside, we thought this would be a really great addition to our store. The other module that we use, the SIM 800, the pads are on the underneath, so you can't really hand solder it. You have to use a reflow oven of some sort. But this module, it's not that much more expensive. You also get the GPS. It's a little bit bigger, but it's hand solderable, and we think that makes it worth it. So this shows you the module decapped, so you can see the chipsets used. It uses the MediaTek MT6260. That's the cell phone chipset. It's got the analog front end for the cell phone. Stuff is done by the RF7196. And then for GPS, it has the MediaTek MT3336. Now, when you get this, you're not going to get like antennas or like a TFT display or buttons or all that. Like, you still have to add all this like additional circuitry, like antennas and regulator and battery and analog stuff to for the headphone, for example, or LEDs if you want to see indicators. But for the most part, the amount of extras that you need to add is pretty minimal. Like you don't really need that many more components to make this into a cell phone. And we have a link to the schematic as well to all the data sheets and stuff. You can follow our schematic, basically make your own board and add cellular GPS to your next project.
Okay. Next up. This is kind of freaky. These are real Raspberry Pi Wi-Fi dongles.
Yeah, these are the official ones.
Yeah. It has a little Raspberry Pi logo.
Yeah, I just want to give warning because this one is, there's a couple little tricks about this. This is a Broadcom chipset, and we couldn't get it working on a Windows computer. We didn't find the drivers. I guess we could have spent some more time, maybe found some drivers, but
So maybe it only works on a Raspberry
it's
Pi.
kind of, well, not only is it intended for the Raspberry Pi, but if you have an older installation of the Raspberry Pi, it doesn't have the drivers either because it's only the most recent installs have the Broadcom driver for this Wi-Fi chipset.
So let's be clear, what this is geared towards, if you have a latest Raspberry Pi with the latest Raspbian,
Yep.
this is for you. If you have like a Windows XP machine and you plug this in, you're probably not gonna have a good time.
I don't
One,
know.
you have a XP machine.
Which is why do you even have that?
Well,
We're-
no, maybe you need it. Maybe you have to have it. Like you have equipment that
No
runs
excuse.
on it. Yeah,
No,
there's good excuses.
So it's for the latest Raspberry. And just if you have older Raspberry Pi, you plug it in, it's not going to work. You have to do an update and upgrade. Which also means that if you're using a custom kernel or custom distribution or something that you're doing that's not like stock Raspbian, this also may not work. So because it is very new, and then everybody's still adapting to how fast Raspbian moving. However, the cool thing about this module is that it will be the only Wi-Fi module that's supported by Windows 10 IoT.
Yeah.
When Windows IoT supports Wi-Fi, which it doesn't as of this video recording.
Perf. Okay.
So it's just kind of a very it's very specific. If you have a recent Raspberry Pi installation, good. If you're planning on using Windows 10 IoT and you're willing to wait until they release the Wi-Fi support, this will be definitely supported. Anything else, it's not clear. You'll have to research whether the Broadcom chipset in this module is used, is supported by your operating system or computer. So you see why it's
Doesn't
like this
work
is
with Windows NT for workgroups.
probably not.
Does not.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't
Okay.
look really hard for the Windows 7 drivers. I
Yeah,
should
folks should
take
probably
another.
just put it in a drawer if they want to wait for the Windows IoT stuff.
Yeah,
Okay.
but we're stocking it, and if you're using a modern user Raspbian, it's great.
Okay, so
Just want to give
yeah.
a warning.
Okay, so the star of the show tonight, besides you, Lady Ada, is this. It's this.
What is this?
It's this.
This is it. This is the Bluefruit LE SPI, and we've been releasing a lot of Bluefruit LE modules, and this is kind of our last standalone module that we're going to do for a bit. We're going to explore some other mix and matches. This one is a full Bluetooth Energy module. That's a really nice module that has FC and CC modular certificates. We have example code for it. It works with our iOS and Android apps. It's based off the NRF51822. It has a lot of stuff that we've built into the firmware. And one of the neat things about having our own firmware rather than using the Arduino or some TI chipset module that's already pre-made or the Blue Giga is we actually get to control what's in it. So this is the first time I've seen a module that can use SPI, not just UART to control. Usually you need a software serial port. And this module has SPI, so you can use any 4 or 5 pins on an Arduino or a microcontroller. You don't have to have a software serial, hardware serial port. You need the clock, MISO, MOSI, chip select, and then we suggest IRQ and reset. Those just make things a little bit faster. So we have this hooked up here on the overhead.
Yeah, let's go there. And I also have some things going on too. So
Okay, so here we are with the module, and we've got the little red indicator telling you, hey, it's time to connect and do stuff. And we have a NeoPixel ring attached, so it's going to do this demo. You want to do this demo?
yeah, so
Okay.
we can do it with my phone, and we also have a watch app. So this is
Okay, so let's shove this over here.
yeah, so this is running on iOS.
Okay.
And
It also
then-
works for Android.
And then
but
do you want to first we
Yeah,
got to
sure.
connect, yeah.
So
connect up.
So use our app to connect, and we're going to do the color picker demo.
Okay, just okay.
Okay. So let's say I pick blue, and then I send, and it turns blue. If I send green, it turns green. If I send red, it sends red. So basically, this demo shows just like color picking. There's a lot of other demos we have. Can I just show them off even though they're not going to do anything? So we have a control pad, so you can, if you want to have a project that has like a gamepad type interface, you can use this. You can turn on sensors like quaternion, accelerometer, gyromagnetometer, and location from the phone. So you can use your phone as basically accelerometer or gyroscope or GPS and pipe that data over Bluetooth.
Okay, so I have an Apple Watch, and I'm gonna use Bluefruit LE, and it's gonna ask me something. I'll see. Let's do the color picker.
Color picker.
And so I'll do RGB, and then what I'm gonna do is
I have to hold you.
Yeah.
It's really hard to tell.
I'm gonna try to change the color here to something else, and then
you can't see your watch.
Yeah, no, you can. So I just hit send.
All right, so you hold it, and I'll set it to be a green color.
You can make it green.
I'm gonna set it more green.
More green, and hit send.
And send. Yeah, it works.
So it works. So I'm using my watch control, and then we can also do.
Let's do palette. That's a lot easier.
Palette's a lot easier because what you could do is just be like, hey, like here's the deal. I just want green. Or,
yellowish.
Yeah, or I want like red.
And then you can swipe to get more colors.
Yeah. Oops. So like blue, and then I can disconnect at any time, which I didn't want to do. Oop.
Oh, did it disconnect?
No.
Okay.
We're
there
good.
You go.
So that's a live demo. That's dangerous.
So we did the demo with iOS, and you can use your iWatch if you want as well. We're working on that support as well. But you can use any Android or iOS device to control the Bluetooth. So we have it in two flavors: UART flavor, SPI flavor. Use whichever one you want. I kind of like SPI because it's a little bit faster. And again, you can use any pins. You don't have to worry about flow control or like interrupt requirements for the software serial, which is always a pain. And it's a lot easier to use with any kind of microcontroller. It's very easy to port the library over to your favorite micro.
Okay, and with that, Lady Ada, you know what that was?
Those new products.
Those new products.
Yeah.
Okay, so don't forget, 10% off on anything that we have in stock that you saw. Code's ground all the way up to 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight.
Yeah.
And it'll get you 10% off.
You gotta do anything with your iWatch?
Well, it just told me that we disconnected.
I know, I unplugged it.
Yeah. All right, so let's answer some questions. We're going to speed round it a bit here. You ready?
Got it.
It's question time. Folks, post your questions in the chat, and we will answer them. Okay. The first question, my first question is, why is that question mark over there?
That question mark's over there.
Get over there, little question mark.
Okay.
What are you doing over there? Let's go. Push it that way. Okay.
Good.
All right. So, do you have any small TFT or OLED screens like 1 inch that you can use directly with the camera?
Not directly. Yeah, that's tough because cameras usually have only HDMI output, or we have one camera in the store that has like a JPEG output. We don't have anything that's like directly you can connect to like a display. We do have, if your camera has NTSC output, like PAL or NTSC analog output, we have a 1.5 inch NTSC display that you could connect up and should work just fine. It's a little color miniature display. It's like 1.5 inch diagonal. So that's kind of the only thing I can think of if you have a camera with analog output, like composite out.
Okay, next up, someone says that 3D printer questions. I have the clay and plaster original chess figures. Suggestions on how to obtain Adafruit figurine materials and someone to produce the set.
You'd have to scan them in. So that's the tough part. You'd have to figure out how to use a 3D scanner, get extra 3D scanner that would do precise scans of the chess set you have, and then you would be able to 3D print them.
Okay, what is a good Linux for people to start if they want to start getting involved with Linux? I'd say Ubuntu.
We have a tutorial.
Yeah.
We have a learning guide system all about how to get your own Linux box. You can use like something like DigitalOcean or Linode to get a Linux distro, so you don't even have to reinstall on your computer.
Okay.
Check it out. Go to Learning System and search for Linux.
Is it worth upgrading to 4K camera monitor? So here's the deal. I say for 4K for camera, unless you have a place and a reason to do it, like you need a tripod and like then you have to have something that plays at 4K. YouTube now allows it. 4K monitor I think is a really good idea, but you have to make sure you have the right computer and the refresh rate matters. So like it's all going to work out. Like pixels, we want like more pixels, but I've personally held off.
You don't have a 4K monitor?
I don't have a 4K monitor right now. My computer can drive one, but I'm still kind of waiting. Next up, Someone wanted to know, I want to create a product around your ESP8266 board, but do not want to infringe upon your FCCC license. What can I do? What can I can't? Well, that one's pretty easy. If you're doing a product in the end, you have to go and get it tested
you still
anyways.
have to, a final product still has to get it.
It doesn't matter that our board is fully done and tested and says it's okay. When you put it in your product, you have to go and do it.
But if you're using the emitter part and you don't have an emitter in your product, which you would have to have a consultant like sort of talk to the testing house, you can give them the certificate for the module, which is linked off of the product page, and they'll say, oh, for that section we don't have to test it. They'll still have to do a test for other stuff, but they won't have to test that particular thing, or maybe it'll be easier for them to test. So it'll help, but it doesn't mean that you don't have to do anything.
Yeah, and the fact that we have FCCC certification is helpful in your efforts. It's not going to be a mystery.
Yeah.
Okay. Someone wants to know, what's a good place to do a board run for less than 10 boards? Osh Park?
Osh Park is great. Yeah, absolutely.
People are saying Seed's been doing pretty good.
Seed? There's I can't remember, is it like boardquote.com? There's some site that has a list where you can like quote a bunch of boards. But I like Osh Park, and if you're in the United States, it's one of the fastest ways by far.
Yeah, and then someone, I think this is a general business question. Do you think it'd be okay taking pre-orders and then use the money to order the main run? You know, we don't really like seeing people take money for pre-orders because a lot can change. You
also don't know what the price is going to be necessarily.
Yeah.
I think you know, but you don't really know until you know.
Yeah, it's not fair because then they're customers and you hold their money, and like if you take their credit card and it's an authorization, you can only authorize it for 30 days. And if you're storing your credit cards, then you better be way PCI compliant. It gets really complicated. I mean, there's a Kickstarter that we've been watching. It's a watch actually that hasn't shipped and it's been like over a
2
year.
years,
yeah. And
it's kind of a mess.
and there's a lot of money at stake, and who knows what's
thing
gonna
is actually,
happen.
I don't set the price for a product until it's in the store. Like we have an idea of like how much it's going to cost to sell something, but like for example, the yield on something can be really good or really bad, and that can adjust how we price something. And we don't know until actually we've done the manufacturing run of like 250. And then we're like, well, how did that go? Was that like really tough or was that really easy? And we use that to adjust the price so that we're paying for the labor and time. Yeah. That's one of the problems with pre-sales. You don't know what you don't know, but you're already assuming something like the price before you have all the information. Yeah. It can put you in a pretty tough spot. I've seen a lot of tough spots because of it.
How would I detect or sense if a micro USB charger being unplugged? So I guess you could have a little detection circuit.
Well, yeah, you can. I don't know if the ID pin would do anything, but you can just measure off of the 5-volt power pin or the D+, D- pins. Those, you would have a 3-volt signal on them usually, and when it's unplugged, those would be gone.
Okay. Can the trinket control an SSD 13060 OLED display?
Not really. Doesn't have enough RAM, so go with the Pro Trinket.
Okay. How many NeoPixels can be controlled with a lithium-ion battery, assuming it can provide enough current?
The battery itself doesn't do the controlling, just as the powering. It can control, if the battery's large enough, it can control as many as you like. It depends on how many are lit up and then how long. We have an article about batteries and how to calculate battery time. But the controller itself, like the Arduino or Raspberry Pi or whatever, is what determines how many pixels you can actually drive.
Yeah. Okay, that was our speed round. Good work. Those are questions. Zoom. All right, we're going to do a trivia question. Ada?
Yeah.
It's trivia time. What are the rules for trivia?
The rules are if you won a prize from this show in the last 7 years of our
6 years.
6
in
years
August.
of our showing this. You can't enter again. Only one winner per my lifetime. So if you won before, don't just turn off your keyboard or something so you don't accidentally enter. The prize is going to be a Bluefruit LE SPI.
Yeah.
This little module that is going to be lots of fun. You can use your phone, make something Bluetooth controlled.
Yeah. So we're going to have a fun 808 shield very soon. Don't worry about it.
In 5 days.
Yeah, 5 days.
Kind of chill,
okay.
people. By the time it's on YouTube, it's going to be out.
Yeah.
Give me a break. I have 2 new products a week that I have to design.
Yeah. All right. Here's the trivia question. This famous computer scientist, American-born, 1945, is known to have participated in the development and the programming language of Smalltalk 80 and various concepts related to object-oriented programming while a researcher at Xerox Palo Alto Research Center, Park, in the 1970s.
So you should maybe go to like the web or blog and then check out the Time Travel Tuesday.
She served as the president of the Association for Computing Machinery from 1984 to 1986. Worked with Alan Kay, and her team were part of the folks with the graphical user interface. So, who is this famous computer scientist?
You should probably repeat because it's like...
Well, if you go to the... It's not Donald Trump, come on. That's crazy. So if you go to adafruit.com/blog and type in time, space, travel, not space, word space, but space, you'll probably... Oh, here we go. Guess what? Will, you got it. Will Dresden, Emily Goldberg. Congratulations. Adele, sorry. Adele. Yay, you won. Okay. Okay, email support@adafruit.com, and you won one of these.
Yay!
All right, that's our show for the evening. Thank you very much for everybody hanging in there. We'll continue to figure out the... YouTube really likes changing things at the last second. We think we're on to what they're doing.
Ustream is always pretty good, though. You can always go to Ustream.
YouTube doesn't seem to like doing HD broadcasting right now, so we had to do some trickery. But I also recorded a local version, so we'll see how that turned out. But anyways, we'll be here next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. Don't forget to Coach Ground. That pays the bills here. 10% off all the way up to 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight. Here's a picture of a cat. And here is your moment of Zener. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
決まり